The fourth thing, go back to St. John, that God wanted us to see in this story, that others around us won't understand what Jesus is doing. Amen. Even the disciples didn't understand what was going on. The word came to Jesus, said Lazarus is sick, getting ready to die. And Jesus, when he heard the news, said, I'm going to stay here a few more days. In verse 11, in chapter 11, Jesus said, these things said he, and after that he said to them, our friend Lazarus sleepeth, but I go that I may awake him out of sleep. Then said his disciples, Lord, if he sleep, he shall do well. They didn't understand what Jesus was talking about. Howbeit Jesus spake of his death, but they thought that he had spoken of taking a rest. Then Jesus had to say it real plain to him in verse 14. Listen, Lazarus is dead, okay?
Amen.
When Jesus arrives on the scene, the people are just crying. The folks from Jerusalem came out to Martha and Mary's house, and they just weeping. You get to verse 33. It says, when Jesus therefore saw her weeping, and the Jews also weeping, which came with her, he groaned in his spirit and was troubled, and said, where have you laid him? And they said unto him, Lord, come and see. And Jesus wept. Then said the Jews, behold, how he loved him. And some of them said, could not this man which opened the eyes of the blind have caused that even this man should have not died? Jesus therefore again groaned in himself, cometh to the grave. It was a cave, and a stone laid upon it. Jesus was not crying over Lazarus. No. Jesus was crying over the fact that they had no faith. We sometimes get to a point where we're so distressed and complaining that at the end of the service, when it's prayer, we won't even come down to the altar to get prayer.
Oh, my.
Spirit of God is moving and sweeping, and the Lord is in the house, but yet we're still in the place of weeping over something that God's getting ready to handle. Jesus is there now.
Yes.
But yet they're still weeping. They should have been rejoicing when they saw him showing up.
Right.
When Jesus was afar off, the folks should have started saying, oh, there he is. Jesus is here now. But yet people hold on to the sorrow, hold on to their sadness, and hold on to their heaviness, even when Jesus is right there ready to deliver. You understand? Everybody's not going to understand what God is doing with you.
All right.
Even when you're going through, you have to understand it.
Right.
People, oh, you just need to curse your God and die. You got to be like Job and say, woman, you're crazy. You done lost your mind. I might not understand what God is doing, but it's not for me to understand all the time. But I'm never going to turn from God, because he's my only source of supply. He's my only help.
Yes, sir.
No one else can do anything for me, but if God is here right now, then help has arrived. And in this story, Jesus shows up. He's there. He's available. Yet the people are still weeping and crying and moaning. No, there's the cave right there. Jesus is like, oh my goodness gracious, please, come on. One time, we went to heal the girl. She was sick or unto death, and they got there, Peter, James, and John, and the people were just crying. Oh! Oh! Jesus, look, y'all, put them out, because they haven't figured it out. I'm right here. He put all of them out. Except for Peter and John said, y'all coming, I got to show y'all something, because that's the wrong spirit right there. We got to come to a place where we recognize the power of God.
Yes, sir.
All of this through weeping and crying and complaining over our situations when we have the living God living down on the inside of us. When we have the Lord on our side, all we have to do is invoke God and call down the presence of God to come down and be a part of what's going on with us. We got to stop giving the devil so much credit. The devil don't have that kind of power over our lives. Don't you know that anything that happens to you, God allows it to happen? There is no temptation except that which is common to man. Look at this.